This for all.
If the clerk would call the roll. We did not call the roll at the beginning of the meeting before we adjourned. Here.
Mr. Casucci?
Here.
Mrs. Crowe? Here. Mr. Duffy?
Here.
Mr. Coyle?
Here.
Mr. Ivino?
Here.
Mr. Valtrino?
He's here.
Mr. Waldine? Here. Mr. Winslow?
Here.
Superintendent Smith is here.
Is also here. Yeah.
Assistant Superintendent Kasabian? Ms. Oliver? And Student Representative Heather Thompson.
Thank you. The first order of business is the approval of minutes from the respective meetings that are noted on the agenda.
So moved.
Unless there are any alterations or deletions or amendments. Mr. Ivino so moves. Mr. Duffy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment is on the next item on the agenda. If there are any members of the audience who wish to address the... Yes.
Don't we have to approve the minutes from the special meeting on the 14th?
I did. I said the minutes that were listed on the agenda. I think the motion covered them.
Yeah, said the appropriate.
But were there any changes to those special? No? Okay. Thank you. As I was saying, public comment is now open, and for any member of the audience who would wish to address the committee on any of the topics of tonight's agenda, now is the time to do that. Seeing none approaching, we'll consider that portion of the meeting closed. Superintendent is tied up for 1 second, so we will move on to some of the deliberation items under topic number 5. And we will adjust that because the superintendent's coming back, so we'll stay with the regular agenda items as listed, which brings us to item number 4, superintendent's reports. And under those line items, we'll hear from the superintendent.
Okay. I guess we've moved to superintendent's report. Okay. I will start with, as I do each meeting, I'm very happy to start with a number of accomplishments on the part of students across the district. First one has to do with, I mentioned at the last meeting that we had both middle and high school students at the Model UN competition at Northeastern University a couple of Saturdays ago, and these are all of the urban districts in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and I'm very, very happy and proud to say that we absolutely kicked, yes, right, in the competitions. The middle school students literally won just about every, if not every, available award in the competition, and they were on the Haiti Development Committee. And on the high school level, Malden High School students won 7 out of the 16 total available awards, and no other school came close. And I'd like to give my congratulations to all of the members of the team, also to Jamie Green, who led the high school effort, teacher who led the high school effort, and all of the middle school social studies teachers who were involved, as well as Ms. Allen, Director of Social Studies. An absolutely outstanding showing on the part of Malden High School. Another Malden High note, actually I have 3 tonight. Congratulations are in order to Ryan Gallagher and all of the members of the Blue and Gold newspaper. They recently won first place in the Excellence in News Writing Award in a regional competition. And in addition to receiving the award, the newspaper also obtained access to a $3,500 scholarship that will go to Malden High School seniors who are interested in journalism. So congratulations to Ryan and all of the members of the Blue and Gold. And then finally, congratulations to the Malden High School Play Production Company for advancing this past Saturday to the finals of the Massachusetts Educational Theater Guild competition. Malden will join 14 other schools in the finals in 2 weeks. It's going to be performed at John Hancock Center. And they were one of 14 schools out of 112 who survived the competition to this point. And it was a play that was written and produced and acted by the students at Malden High called American Land, and I saw it Friday night. It was truly a moving experience, and I'm not exaggerating in saying it's the best piece of theater I've seen in at least half a dozen years. It doesn't matter, it was on Broadway, off Broadway, it was at Malden High, and it was absolutely incredible. I encourage you, highly encourage you, in a couple of weeks, and I'll get you more details, but they will be performing at the John Hancock Center in Boston. They'll be competing to win all state awards, and the students this time won 14 different awards for acting, technical work, choreography, and dance and music. And again, congratulations to Sean Walsh, who's the English instructor and director of drama, and all of the members of the play. Just best wishes for another outstanding performance in a couple of weeks. So that's it for accomplishments. With that, I'll move on to items in the budget. In terms of the school improvement plans, as you know, Mr. Brown is going to present April 11th rather than at this meeting, and at that time he'll present not only the school improvement plan of Malden High, but he will present the 2011-12 program and studies for your feedback. In terms of the budget, I met with the budget subcommittee today at 5 o'clock, so I'm going to defer to the members of that subcommittee during the update section at the end of the meeting. Next, a very important item, time on learning. As I mentioned in my memo to you, over the course of the last couple of months, I have examined very closely, along with the principals of the Linden School, Forestdale, and Beebe schools, the amount of time that's allocated to instruction. That's face time between teachers and students. It is not passing time, lunch, recess, what have you. As everybody knows, the minimum requirement for kindergarten through grade 5 is 900 hours. I put a chart in each of your packets itemizing by grade level the amount of instructional time that's provided in each of those 3 school buildings. In grades 1 through 5, we're not responsible for the time requirement in kindergarten. In grades 1 through 5, each of the schools falls short of the required amount of time of 900 hours. I first of all bring that issue to the committee, and that it's something that we have to rectify. We need to get to the 900 hours of instruction. The principals have looked inside the schedules, their own schedules, in terms of how they can reorganize time. It is not possible to capture all of that time by reconstructing the schedule, and as I mentioned in my recommendations to you, my immediate recommendation would be that all students enter the school for class work beginning at 7:45 in the morning. Currently, our K through 5 kids K through 6 enter and start instructional time, if you will, at 8:15 versus the 7:45 for grades 7 and 8. For us to get up to that 900 hours, if all students were to enter at 7:45, we would wipe out the problem that we currently have with that 900 minimum number of hours. So I would, I guess, open that up for comment or feedback from the committee at this time.
Questions or comments on the superintendent's report on that item? Mr. Altrino?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Superintendent, did this come from DESE reports? Did
No.
DESE contact you?
No, DESE did not find us out of compliance. As a matter of fact, to give some history, the 900-hour requirement came in, I believe it was 1995, and the DESE was very, very diligent in terms of checking with each district in terms of the amount of time that they how much instruction time they provided for a few years, and then they stopped asking each district to report each year. This came to light over the course of the last few months because we were struggling to increase the requirements in social studies and science in the earlier grades. And the pushback was, we don't have time, we don't have time. So I asked each of the principals to give me a detailed schedule that allocated or identified their time allocation for every single bit of instruction that was provided. It was at that point that the problem emerged.
So have we been going the last maybe few years under the 900-hour mark?
I would say, I don't know how far back this goes. I've tried to find out. I know that at least since the new buildings were constructed, we have been under the 900 hours.
In the ramifications?
Well,
DESE?
I mean, all I can say, I couldn't say exactly. I mean, the DESE, if they were the ones who dug up this data, would say to us, you have to get to 900 hours. It's very simple. We are out of compliance with state regulations in terms of instructional time. And they would leave it to us to figure out what it was that we did to get to those 900 hours.
But our ELT schools are all set.
ELT schools are fine. They exceed the 900 hours.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Altrino. Mr. Waldau?
So, Superintendent Smith, question. When I'm looking at this chart, the time on learning chart, I'm looking at the bottom row of each school where it says minutes per day that are needed.
Yep.
So by increasing the minutes per day by 30, it really only solves the problem at Farsdale, because Farsdale doesn't have, I mean, the max minutes needed is 21, whereas you reach Linden, there are some grades that needs 35, and BB, some grades that need 35. So are we okay kind of just putting the Band-Aid 30 on schools that need the 35?
Well, I don't think it's a Band-Aid. As I said in the memo, that 30 minutes would allow us to capture almost all of the minutes, where there are some cases where there are 5 additional minutes. That could be recaptured through a reorganization of the schedule internally.
During the school day.
Yeah, they just can't capture all of that time by a reorganization of the schedule.
Now, did the principals, when talking to these 3 principals, did they allude to the fact that maybe they could find more than, let's say, a 5-minute cushion, like instead of going to 7:45, you went to 8 o'clock, and then each principal had to find 15 minutes as opposed to 5? Like, did you flesh out each of those kind of things where, let's say, you said, well, I'm going to move the day back from 8:15 to 8, adding 15 minutes per day?
Well, I think that, first of all, the principals are always struggling to come up with schedules to increase instructional time. As we put a lot of pressure on the schools to increase the instructional time, particularly in the area of literacy and math, and also to provide all of the interventions. So I'm really quite confident that the principals are working hard to scrape out all of the instructional minutes. But in addition to that, I think that there are a couple of other things that come that are advantages if this were to happen. Number one, for parents, they would be able to drop all of their kids off at school at the same time. They would not have some of the struggles that some of the parents now deal with having their kids start school at different times. And also where you do see, for example, 3rd grade at Linden, it's 29 minutes, or 4th grade is 24 minutes. It's not the full 30 minutes. None of our kids are going to be anything but helped by having those extra minute to up to 6 minutes per day. So I think it's really the best idea is to get everybody into school at the same time.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Waldau. Other questions or comments on the report? Is there a motion associated with this, or is there just a directive that needs to go out from administration?
Well, for me, from my position, there's a directive that we need to take care of this problem. I think I will. This is my formal proposal, though, in terms of the solution of the problem. Whether or not that has other collective bargaining implications, we need to pursue that and make sure that's absolutely resolved. I know both Howard Greenspan and the lawyer for the MEA has this same information. They've been looking at it now for pretty much 2 months, and I think it would at the very least be good to direct me, to make sure we resolve the problem. I go back and meet with Marguerite and the representatives, the lawyers from each party, and we hammer out a final recommendation resolution at the next meeting.
Ms. Crowe?
And if we go with this, this will actually not happen until next year. It's not like we're going to...
Yeah, it won't happen until next year.
Okay. Thank you.
So does committee member want to make the appropriate motion that the system find a solution so that the 900-hour obligations... Right. I think we should be affirmatively on record to have the administration correct the deficiency. Motion?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Duffy? Second. Follow the motion, Madam Clerk. That the administration take the necessary steps to correct the deficiency as identified on the 900-hour mandate as identified by the superintendent and DESE. Everybody follow the motion? Let's take a roll call on it,
Well,
please.
as a point of clarification, so this would involve working with the MEA for in terms of the collective bargaining?
They have the administration take the necessary steps, yeah.
Mr. Casucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Crowe?
Yes.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
Mr. Froyo?
Yes.
Mr. Iadino?
Yes.
Mr. Altrino?
Yes.
Mr. Welda?
Yes.
Mr. Winslow?
Yes.
Mayor Howard?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you
Next
very
item.
much. Next item, I'd like to move to the last item in my memorandum to you, which has to do with the retirement of the Forestdale Assistant Principal, Mr. Paul McCarthy. Mr. McCarthy is retiring effective September 20th, 2011. Instead of just entering the school year with no one to replace him and then trying to find a replacement on September 20th, I've made a proposal that we hire someone to fill his position, beginning with the August leadership the August leadership team retreat, so that that person can participate in that retreat if they are not already doing so. And I gave the three different scenarios: if the person was a successful candidate from outside the district, or they were a successful candidate who is currently administrator inside the district, or if the successful candidate was currently a teacher in the district. The cost to the district ranges from $2,730 to $9,426. Again, I think that cost is merited given the alternative, and that is my real sense that we would not get a good candidate if we weren't able to post and fill until September 20th.
Questions on the recommendation? Ms. Crowe?
Mr. Chairman. And now, Superintendent Smith, we are doing this only at the Forestdale because there is only one assistant principal. So
That's right.
there are other assistant principals retiring, but there is one staying on, so they have some...
Well, it's not only that. That is also the case. We don't want to be without an assistant principal, but Mr. McCarthy, the others are retiring effective June 30th or sometime.
Okay.
Well, actually, it would all be June 30th, effective the end of the school year.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. McCarthy's the only one whose retirement extends into the next school year.
And a standalone assistant principal.
And he's the only person, the only AP in that school.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Crowe. Are there questions or comments, observations on the superintendent's report and recommendation? No other commentary? We could use the appropriate motion.
Make a motion to...
Ms. Crowe, the motion is to follow the superintendent's recommendation on posting the position. Mr. Froyo seconds. Any other discussion?
Well, point of clarification,
Mr. Weldad,
we're allowing him to post the position?
use
or we're
your
allowing him to-
microphone there, Mr. Weldad. Thank you. Thank you.
Point of clarification, we're making the motion to post the position? Because it looks like what the superintendent's looking for is the motion to approve the replacement cost.
Well, I imagine it has to be an
I
advertisement.
mean, do you need a permission a permission to post?
Well, the real issue here is we don't have an approved budget yet, and this is a budget item. And so I'm asking for permission now because we would like to post and not have to wait until the end of the budget cycle, whenever that should end, before we're able to make this decision.
So we're not
So there'd be a
necessarily-
financial impact in fiscal year 2012 that would attend seeking the replacement person as of the spring, anticipating hiring in August of 2011.
So I guess that would be, that was my, clarification was, in some way, it feels like we're voting on a budgetary item for next year. And it just seems like that's something that, we haven't voted on any other budget. It seems like we're preemptively voting on a budget number for next year. And, when you play around with all the scenarios that could happen throughout the FY12 budget process, it just seems like, so now we'd sort of be voting to include this in the process. Would we then vote to take it out of the process if we decided something else was to come around? That's sort of it seems like we're authorizing the superintendent to post the job, but what we're actually doing is authorizing a budgetary expense for FY12. I think that should just be clarified in the actual motion.
Yeah, it certainly can be subtracted as part of the budget process if there were not to be a replacement assistant principal in that school. That certainly could be a product of the outcome of the budget deliberations. Obviously, there would be no hiring that would occur in that case, but I think what it is that is being asked for is a theoretical commitment in the budget should there be an assistant principal position filled at the Forestdale, and a commitment to be able to incur the additional cost for the overlap. So,
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
but I don't think there is any commitment that it does show up in the budget. Ms. Crow.
So actually, we're just saying that we're going to post this position along with the other assistant principal positions that are going to be vacated June 1st. So that's why there's an overlap in this one. So it just goes out with all the other ones. We're not waiting until
That's right.
the end.
That's right.
And so it does give somebody the opportunity, as when we post the positions for a July 1st start, they have the summer to get acclimated, whereas this person would not be able to do so.
Okay, all right. Everybody else set on those points of clarification? Need a motion?
It was made and seconded.
It was? I missed it.
Yeah, this one.
Refresh my recollection.
Motion was made by Ms. Crowe, seconded by Mr. Foyle.
I do remember that now, Mr. Freya. I was looking at John when he made the second. The motion's been made and seconded. We'll call the roll unless there's any other debate.
Mr. Casucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Crowe?
Yes.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
Mr. Froyo?
Yes.
Mr. Iavino?
Yes.
Mr. Altrino?
Yes.
Mr. Waldeck?
Yes.
Mr. Winslow?
Yes.
Mayor Howard?
The matter passes, but yes. Any other?
Okay, thank you very much. That concludes my report.
Moving on to item 5, deliberations. We have item 1, subcommittee updates under that section. We can take subcommittee updates from the appropriate folks. Ms. Crowe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Superintendent Smith mentioned, the Budget Subcommittee met this afternoon at 5 o'clock to get a budget update of this year and next year. And the good news is for this year, actually, between Ms. Oliver and Mr. Smith, they've kind of worked on the budget, and we are not in a deficit at the moment, but that's a very cautious at the moment, because as Irene had informed us that she's gotten 6 requests for homeless transportation bills and 8 tuition bills for out-of-district sped costs. So that has not been factored into this pie chart that we're looking at right now, although this chart does have us in a positive light. So that's kind of good news, and we still don't have all the final numbers for and we had snow today, for utilities. So we're actually very cautious, and we're meeting again April 11th at 5 p.m. Before the next school committee meeting to see if we get some more updates. We're hoping that the House